Coming up on Inside More, we'll show you how some more residents are using the Old Town Community Garden as a teaching tool. Plus, we'll see how one more organization is bringing dignity back to food distribution. But first, there's a lot of excitement and trash talk in the businesses around Moore. What's causing them to get all fired up? We'll tell you next here on Inside More.
I want to win.
We will win.
Competition is steep this year for the 2014 Big Wheel Nationals.
I think Big Wheel Nationals is really one of the most fun events that we get to have all year for the whole community, and we're thrilled to be a part of hosting it.
On September 20th, the community will gather to watch kids ages 4 to 8 race across the finish line in creatively decorated big wheels. The businesses that decorate the bikes perhaps have even more fun than the kids.
We haven't seen ourselves, but we're hearing that there are some trikes that are receiving some very special modifications. So we've been working with the local Moore Police Department. We're working on the traffic ordinances and the speed limits, and we've actually had the speed limit raised for the night of Big Wheel Nationals because we hear there are going to be some really fast trikes out there this year.
Businesses spend countless hours decorating the big wheels and preparing to outshine the competition.
It takes a really long time to build your bike if you're kind of into the design.
It takes about a year from planning all the way up to the actual production of the bike.
We're going to keep our strategy under wraps because that is how we win.
Our plan is to put a little bit more oomph in our bike, like maybe add a little bit of glitter, some bigger flames, maybe some streamers on the handlebars, and maybe inject it with some cane sauce to make it go faster.
I'm going to keep everything till the reveal of the big wheel, but it's going to be bigger than last year's.
There are multiple prizes businesses can win, including Best of Show and Creativity and Craftsmanship.
Last year was our first time winning first place.
We have won Best in Show, and that was, I believe, the second year they did it, so we're pretty stoked about that. But this year, we're going to take it all. We make sure that we have a great design and make it practical for the kids to race.
It takes the knowledge of knowing your opponents. If we know what they're doing, then we're always going to be one step ahead of them.
Winning the competition is serious business, but there are tricks and training rituals that can give you a competitive advantage.
Our pre-race ritual is we all usually get pretty jacked up on Mountain Dews, Pepsis, any kind of candy bars, and then of course we all have our matching shirts. We've got to get dressed before the race. All of our shirts say Pit Crew on the back.
Before the race, we'll get together. We'll have a Mountain Dew and a Snickers, and we'll also hula hoop around the office.
Before a race, we might eat 6 chicken fingers, and then maybe use some of our Cane's Love and go get some ice cream and put it on top of the chicken fingers, and maybe also dip it in some cane sauce.
A winning bike needs a winning driver. Businesses have qualities they look for in a driver.
We look at our drivers, the younger kids, and we look for the fearless kids that have the great attitude and are ready to go out there and show what they have.
We are looking for a between 6, 7, 8-year-old Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He is super strong and he can take on anything that this competition throws at him.
We're looking for someone that's fast and focused and determined to be the best.
Our training regimen has a vigorous amount of push-ups, sit-ups, and running.
We bring in lots of kiddos between that age group, and we have them do a couple laps around the building.
We have them come to the restaurant and take their bike and go around the drive-thru. Maybe order a caniac and see how fast they can eat it before they get back around.
Aside from the competition, Big Wheel Nationals gives back to the community in a unique and fun way.
It's a lot of fun to see the different businesses that do end up sponsoring the trikes. At first it seems like nobody really, we don't get to hear what the plans are going to be, and when everybody finally unveils their trikes, there's a lot of bragging that's going on, and there's a lot of camaraderie, but in the end it's a lot of our local Moore business owners that are just having a lot of fun, and they're sponsoring trikes that are really going back into the community, going back into the Old Town Association, and the kids have a ton of fun racing them.
We enjoy getting out with the community and hanging out with the kids. It's just really fun to see their faces, and all those kids are looking forward to it.
We do it to show the community that we care about the community, also to give the younger kids an opportunity. It's to raise money for the children, for the community of Moore, and also, yes, so we can win. Good luck out there. You're looking at the best. We're always going to be the best, and we'll see you there at competition time.
Lush, green, and loaded with beautiful flowers and tasty veggies. Back in March, Serve More built a community garden, and now it's overflowing with the rewards from their hard work. Organizations have come together to tend their plot of dirt, bringing citizens from around the city to share and learn about gardening.
As a family and consumer science teacher, it became very clear that students did not have a concept of where food came from. The concept of farm to table was completely foreign to them, and they had no idea, generally no idea, that you could actually grow food yourself. So I thought it would be a great way to promote awareness for students, but also a great way to promote community within Highland East.
Initially, we wanted the students in our class to be able to see things sprout, to be able to see them grow and develop. Tracy found out about the community garden and thought it would be cool, a thing that we could continue on all summer. And so she found us a plot here, and it started with one plot, and then we inherited 4 more plots, and so kind of
sort of taken on a life of its own for us. Why I wanted to keep doing this and bring it out here and make it a year-round project is because I was seeing the benefits for my students. When they got to see their plants growing, they had such joy, and then when they actually got to harvest them, and then with Miss Wiggs' class, they got to cook them in her class. They got to see the full circle of their labor, you know, of doing everything, of planting and growing and cooking. It all came full circle for them, and they got really excited, and they wanted to do more, and we couldn't tell them no.
And it's not just students who are learning by getting their hands dirty. Those who have a registered plot come to share their ideas, fresh air, and sun at the community garden. And one of those ideas, right now is the perfect time to start planning the next garden.
Well, you need to have an area that's in full sun typically is best, unless you want to do a shade garden, but there's a lot of sun in Oklahoma, so full sun's a lot of time is easier, especially for vegetables. And then you want to make sure you have the right soil preparation. We usually say about 30% compost to 70% topsoil or garden soil. Keep your watering at the soil level. So, because if you're watering the foliage, you can spread insects and disease a lot quicker from the splashing. The biggest labor is going to be the install. If you're doing a raised bed, for instance, that's going to be, you know, your biggest time-consuming, biggest probably money-consuming part is getting the bed prepared. I like raised beds because they drain really easy, which is not something we experience in clay soil very often.
I do have a garden. I've been gardening for several years. It's really nice to come out here at the community garden and see the benefits with us working together as opposed to at home working alone.
As a community garden, we've met people that we normally wouldn't have met, you know, people who might have been just working in their own little backyards. You know, we've met them, we've learned from them.
Having this community garden has inspired my personal garden at home. I've never had one before, and I've always been afraid to do it on my own. But being out here learning from Kelly and her helping me even at home, I've got a little small garden at home that for the first time, and I'm ready to do more next year.
People take more than just wholesome food home. The benefits of gardening will reach well beyond the fence line. Watching how your hard work goes from seed to plate brings pride and ownership.
A lot of times, the produce that you buy at the store is picked unripe and it's ripened in a truck. Whereas when you're picking from your backyard, you can choose just how ripe you want it. And a lot of times you're going to get a lot more nutrients that way. It's going to taste better. You know, and there's also that fulfillment from growing your own food and using it in your own recipes and dinners and things like that. So it not only is it fulfilling, and it may not be as cheap as some people think, but I think the reward you get from it is worth it.
The community garden revealed what is beyond the obvious soil, seeds, sunlight, and water. It shows how close we are as a city. It shows how strong we are when we work towards a common goal. But most of all, it shows the rest of the world that we are still more strong.
One gentleman had never asked for food in his life for his family. He'd never been out of work, but he'd been laid off, and he was reluctant to come in and ask for food, but it wasn't for him, it was for his family. And finally did, and through the process, he actually broke down and started crying and said he'd never been treated with so much dignity and respect all his life.
When times get tough, we could all use a helping hand. Asking for help can be difficult for anyone that is struggling, but the Food Resource Center in Moore is here to make asking and getting help just a little easier. Typical donations are prepared and handed out in bulk, but here, things are different.
The Food Resource Center concept started with us about 3 years ago. We have 6 operational now. First one was in Enid, Oklahoma. And it really is a new opportunity to engage the community in the issue of hunger, but also provide a certain amount of dignity for people coming and getting food that wouldn't have it otherwise, because it's based on a client choice pantry. So literally people get to come in, get screened, and then be able to shop for what they need.
Instead of boxes with a standard amount of food staples, people are welcome to come as they please and pick out exactly what they need.
A lot of them are surprised. The client choice program that the food bank has really pushed is relatively new. So the fact that they get to walk over here and feel like they're walking into a Crest or a Homeland, it seems like a real grocery store where they pick exactly what they go home with. A lot of them think that is the neatest thing since sliced bread.
They got to choose what they wanted. It kind of gives them a sense of independency, where, even though they're coming for help, they're still able to choose and get things that they need as well.
Choice. That is exactly what sets the Food Resource Center apart from typical food distributors. This revolutionary idea is not only more inviting to those in need, but having the choice reduces waste and increases efficiency.
One of those benefits that come from it that we didn't necessarily know going into it, that people actually take less food. Because a lot of times you go to an emergency food pantry, you just get handed a box of food. It might have 6 cans of green beans in it. Well, you may have green beans at home that already you don't need it. And so they have an opportunity to come in and shop for what they want. We also try to keep them stocked with fresh fruits and vegetables, something that people eliminate from their diet that are restricted income. And they also have dairy products, yogurt and things of that nature, and meat products they can shop with.
A better experience for the needy and a closer experience for the volunteers. Those who were originally packing up boxes behind the scenes can now work directly with customers.
This is my first time here, then being at the processing center, and it's very different. I actually, like this a lot more because you actually get that interaction with the people and actually see it making a difference. You know that when you're doing it there, that it is making a difference as well, but to actually see it being in progress and going forth is really heartwarming.
Volunteers come to this facility, and it's a different volunteering experience. What they discover is they want to come back and help. What happens a lot of times, to our amazement, clients come through, customers, and they get help, and they want to come back and help us. They want to give back to their community, and helping other people come through the system is another way of doing that. It just adds another level of dignity to the process.
As far as our clients go, a lot of them do like giving back. A prime example is this morning, actually. One of our clients, who is bilingual, came and volunteered. She saw that we were doing our best with the broken Spanish that some of us on staff speak, and she offered to come and spend a few hours with us. She comes 2 to 3 times a week, and just a small way to say thank you. We can always use the extra hands, especially with the amazing response that we've had to being here.
With overwhelming gratitude from the community, the Oklahoma Food Bank plans to extend similar operations around the state, using Moore as its example.
Our goal is to have 40 or 50 of these throughout our whole service area in 53 counties we serve throughout the whole state of Oklahoma. And we really think this particular location in Moore, Oklahoma is really going to serve as a model for all the rest of them. We really love this area and love this facility. It'll not only serve Moore, it'll also serve all South Oklahoma City.
Getting to see the clients leave after they've had their shopping experience was just this big grin. It's not uncommon for them to want to hug somebody. It makes a long day worth it. It makes being able to go home and relax and just feel that awesome feeling inside knowing I impacted someone's life today for the better. And it makes every struggle worth it.
Responding directly and personally to the people who need it the most. With the help of the Food Resource Center, the Food Bank, and volunteers, we can all change the face of hunger.